Dr. Lena Thorne did everything right. Hands on the wheel, engine off, window down, with her license and registration ready. She had pulled over on a quiet road in North Carolina, just as she'd been taught. Calm and compliant. She wasn't speeding, her taillight wasn't out, and her tags were current. Yet, this routine traffic stop was anything but. It was the kind of stop that black drivers know intimately. The kind you pray doesn't turn deadly. The kind where you're not innocent. You have to prove it, and even then, it might not be enough. The first officer didn't ask for her ID or explain the reason for the stop. He simply shouted, demanded, and drew his weapon as if it were a reflex. A second officer circled behind her car, his fingers near his holster. Lena remained still, her voice low. "What's the reason for the stop, officer?" she asked. They didn't answer. They opened fire. A bullet tore through her window, missing her by inches. Another hit the headrest where her head had been moments before. In that split second between life and death, Lena moved like no civilian should. This wasn't luck or rage. It was training. She had once taught special forces how to survive ambushes, and knew that war had just arrived at her home. What the officers didn't know was that Lena Thorne wasn't just another black woman on the side of the road. She was a decorated Marine veteran, a survival tactics instructor, and a licensed gun owner. She survived because she had learned that silence wasn't safety, obedience wasn't armor, and self-defense was sometimes the only option left. Within seconds, everything changed. The same men who had approached her with unchecked authority were now on the ground, one clutching his leg, the other frozen in his tracks. They called his stop. She called it an unprovoked use of force. They expected surrender. She gave them restrained resistance. Her shots weren't meant to kill. They were meant to neutralize. She didn't escalate. She responded. The body camera footage, what little wasn't corrupted, later showed a woman trying to de-escalate a situation while being treated as a threat. This wasn't just a bad traffic stop. It was a symptom of a deeper issue: racial profiling, police misconduct, and the quiet assumption that some lives are easier to violate than others. But this time, the story didn't end with an apology. It ended with federal investigation, 2 suspended officers, and a woman who refused to become a statistic. Sometimes, the only way to survive is to be the storm they never saw coming. Lena Thorne, a 38-year-old college instructor, was quietly powerful. Her past as a Marine major who had served in combat zones and wrote training manuals was not a secret, but few understood the depth of her experience. After leaving the military, she sought peace and privacy, using her GI Bill to earn a master's in behavioral psychology. She taught emergency preparedness at a community college, always emphasizing that her class wouldn't teach you how to fight, but what to do when a fight finds you. She had a special focus on teaching black women, believing they were taught to comply rather than survive. Lately, she had noticed patterns of profiling and police misconduct in her town. She had seen patrol cars idling near her home and an increase in stops for drivers who looked like her. She had a previous unsettling encounter herself, a patrol car trailing her for miles before pulling away without a word. She wasn't paranoid. She was experienced and had every reason to be cautious. She knew that when people with unchecked authority confuse control with justice, things go wrong, and they go wrong fast. The pressure was building. Her name came up in a closed-door police briefing as someone who frequently challenged protocol. A threatening, anonymous note was slipped under her door. Her friend, a senior policy analyst at the Department of Justice, warned her, "They're not watching you because you're dangerous, Lena. They're watching you because you're effective." Despite the warnings, she refused to back down, knowing that retreating would only confirm what they wanted to believe. She knew how to survive not just the stop, but the courtroom and the legal aftermath. On the night of the stop, she took her usual quiet back road home. A patrol car pulled in behind her with no sirens, just a looming presence. She did everything correctly. Pulled over, turned off the engine, kept her hands visible. The officer told her she fit a description and ordered her out of the car. When she calmly asked for clarification, he raised his voice and his hand toward his weapon. A second cruiser arrived, and the situation instantly became a containment. As she slowly stepped out, saying her actions aloud for her dash cam, a shot rang out. The bullet shattered her side mirror, cutting her cheek. Another bullet hit her headrest. They weren't trying to restrain her. They were trying to kill her. Years of training took over. She retrieved her legally owned firearm from her console, but did not fire to kill. Her shots were aimed to disable. One hit a tire, and the other struck an officer's thigh, taking him down instantly. In 4 seconds, she neutralized the threat. With her hands raised and her gun dangling from her finger, she stepped out into the open, bleeding but unshaken. "You opened fire on an unarmed woman with no probable cause," she said for the cameras. "This is being recorded." She then placed her weapon on the ground and knelt, not in surrender, but in a calculated act to preserve evidence and stay alive. When backup arrived, a supervisor recognized her. "You're Major Thorne?" he asked. The younger, more aggressive officers wanted to detain her, but the supervisor stopped them. "This woman is a federally licensed instructor, former military. She neutralized you after you opened fire first. She has rights. More than that, she knows how to defend them in court." The truth was now on tape, unfiltered and undeniable. The footage went viral, showing a woman who complied, was fired upon without cause, and responded with precise control. The department's initial predictable statements about an unfortunate misunderstanding were undone by the video evidence, and a mysteriously restored body cam revealed an officer whispering, "She's got attitude. Let's check her for prior." It wasn't a stop, it was a targeting. Lena filed a civil rights lawsuit and a complaint with the Department of Justice. She named not only the officers but the department itself for its systemic issues. Her legal analysis detailed how her every shot was a legitimate act of self-defense. Her case was so damning that the sheriff resigned after his emails, which showed she was on unofficial watch list, were leaked. The FBI opened an official probe, and Lena, who they had tried to discredit, was brought in as a consultant. The officers involved were suspended, and one faced felony charges. When asked if she ever imagined she would be helping to hold the police department accountable for trying to destroy her, she replied, "I didn't survive 3 wars to surrender in my own neighborhood." Lena didn't gloat or seek fame. She issued a single statement. "This isn't just about me. It's about every person who sat quietly through a traffic stop and wondered if they'd survive." Her next class, renamed "What Happens When Rights Collide with Power," was full within hours, attracting students and even 2 retired officers. She became a symbol of clarity, not vengeance. She went viral because she did everything right. She stayed calm when bullets flew. She knew the law when the law failed her, and her judgment never gave way to rage. Her case led to a new state bill, unofficially called Lena's Clause, requiring civilian oversight and stricter body camera regulations. Lena didn't attend the bill signing. She was in her classroom, teaching. She told a young student who feared being shot, "Fear is real, but so is your value. The law is on your side, even when the badge forgets it. So stay calm, be clear, and remember, your life matters more than their assumption." Lena Thorne never wanted to be a hero. She just wanted the safety and dignity promised to all citizens. But by refusing to die quietly and surviving on her own terms, she became something more, a symbol of resilience and a testament to the power of knowing your rights better than those holding the gun.